Welcome back to another episode of the DailyFlip podcast. Today we're going to be breaking down the future. I know, right? Tall order. Well, we're not going to be reading a story like we normally do. We're going to be talking about the landscape for 2026, 2028, and what the elections that just happened told us. And of course, we will take your opinions with our daily debate. Do you see a path under the current Republican structure for Republicans to recover by the midterms? I know we've done a lot of Republican coverage recently, but that's because they're in the news, and they are the party in power, and they're also the ones that are in focus when it comes to whether or not they will be able to rally their coalition. The Democrats are also there, but we've talked about them before, and I think this midterm, this off-year election, but this coming midterm specifically will be a narrowing point. We will see them rally around their populist figures. We will see them come into a more progressive economic message. The question is, do the Republicans lean into that or not? This is going to be a shorter episode, but I'm going to break it down, give my thoughts very quickly, and I want to hear yours. Throw them in the comment section down below. So, with that said, what are the paths forward? There are obviously thousands upon thousands of paths. To say as though there are just two is a lie. The two most likely, in my opinion, and the ones that would actually work are laid out as such. One, you return to the Ron Paul centrism. I think that while this path will fail you short term, I think long term it could very well succeed for the Republican Party. But they have to be willing to lose in the short term. And I think that is less likely based on the base, the people that I see around me, the people who are active in circles like this that are having these discussions. The proper turn, the only turn that makes sense is to go to Hawley, to the most populist side wing of the party, to embrace what Trump has brought along and not necessarily keep the more libertine side of his argument, but his overall vision, his belief in executive power, and his populist messaging as well as policy implementation. You could argue that it's common sense, and that's fair, but I'm not necessarily saying the policies themselves. I'm saying the direction, the messaging, and the angle that you take, because it's all about selling. And if you want to rally the Republican base, if you want to rally the MAGA base, you have to speak like a populist. You have to speak like the Democrats were speaking, in my opinion, 5-6 years ago. Because guess what? That coalition has now fully come over to Trump. It's been a little bit longer than that now. So maybe 10 years, what the Democrats were talking about. But you have to be willing to embrace the policies of the working man. And what is that going to do to our society? I fear what it will do to our society. And that's not to say that the working man isn't important, but the messaging of the working man was very much focused on grievance. The corporations are against you. These people are against you. This population is against you. It's very derisive. And the populist message on the left is the same. But to have both parties embracing such a message, I think is dangerous. Having one in opposition to the other in either direction is a more balanced approach and provides for an actual distinction that matters more than simply the culture war issues. Though, I don't see that direction. As much as I outline and want the more Ron Paul path, the one where the Republicans turn back towards a republic framing that is about limited power, about not effectuating your will, something that looks more like a Reagan revolution. I don't see it happening. Politics doesn't normally go backwards. Politics is a responsive game, and both sides have already responded to the Reagan era and the neocon era, and this is where we are. And that's why I see the Hawley outcome, the populist outcome, being more likely. Instead of learning from mistakes, they're going to double down, because you can never seem to learn the right lessons, and there's always evidence to speak to how your previous movement, your previous segment failed compared to what you haven't quite tried yet, at least not in the same way. So with that, I want to know your opinions. Throw it down there in the comment section. Am I wrong? Am I crazy? If you're a little bit older, maybe you think I'm really crazy. If you're a little bit younger, you say, you might be overblowing it, or why would you ever want to Ron Paul? I'm sure there's a disparity of views. So throw it down there in the comment section. I want to hear what you guys have to say. With that, if you want to go find the episode on the RSS feed, you can find all the links in the description below the like and subscribe button. Down there we got Podvine, Pocket Cast, Apple Podcasts as well. And if you want to find the links to these episodes directly on Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, you can follow the Twitter handle at @YourDailyFlip. And also, if you want to come back for international news, that is on Tuesday and Thursday with 6 and 6 stories from around the world in 6 minutes or less. So with all that said, there's only one more thing to say. Stay safe. Don't die.